Hey everyone, it's LJ here, welcome back to another video. Hey, so I just thought I'd pop on and do a bit of an update because there are more shenanigans in the world of medication and mental health professionals and all sorts of stuff. So, if you haven't been here before, if you're new, then I will leave a link up in the top about my Spoonie life videos, which talk about how I got my diagnosis and things that affect me and all sorts of stuff like that. So you can go and watch that beforehand and come back to this, or you can watch it afterwards. It's totally up to you. So let's see. We'll start off with my physical health. So the physical health stuff, I transferred a year ago, I think, ish, to a hospital much closer to me rather than one up in central London, which is nice for the journey but is a bit of a pain because they don't actually have a lupus specialist. So it's been interesting. But anyway, I'm still getting quite a few side effects from all of my medications, and so the last time I saw them, which was at the start of February, they agreed to put me on a third medication to help treat things. And this is they tend to use these three medications in conjunction with each other quite a lot. So my very first medication was the hydroxychloroquine. I was taking that one tablet 3 times a week, did absolutely nothing. I went back for another appointment and the doctor was like, why did he put you on 3 days a week? You should be taking it every day. So they bumped me up to every day. Same dose, but every day. That was still a bit of a struggle. So then they decided to change me to methotrexate, not change me, add on methotrexate tablets, and we built up my dose from very low to where it was, and it was still causing problems. And so when I transferred to this new hospital, they said, well, how about we give you the injection pen? And I said, okay, sure, I'm not great with injections, but it's not a proper needle, it's a pen. I was like, okay, fine. And so I switched to that. There is a video on my TikTok, but I will add some footage here of me using it. It is not a needle, but if you are scared, just skip to this timestamp and I'll let you know when it's done. The methotrexate injection that I have, it's not a standard injection, it is a pen, thankfully, because I'm not good with needles. So if we open up the box, this is what you get. So you can see the medication is in there. So what we have to do is get out, this is always the fiddliest bit, get out the antiseptic wipe. There we go, I failed to open correctly. You can do it in your thigh or by level with your belly button, which is what I'm going to do. In. And then we're going to remove the lid, hold the bit of skin, and then when you inject, the liquid will go in. And I've been doing this a while and I still can't do it myself. Push it in and click, and then you have to wait for it all to go in. And then we give it a clean. Make sure there's nothing on the actual surface of the skin. And then we use a little plaster to cover that up. And then the whole pen thing goes in a sharps bin, which we have in the bathroom. It stings. Like literally, probably like a hand all the way around the injection site. Really stings for a good couple of hours. What I've noticed is when I do it in my leg, it bleeds, but when I do it in my stomach, it doesn't. So the plaster the next day doesn't really have anything on it. But when I have it on my leg and I have the plaster, it does bleed a little bit. So that's quite interesting. So I've been doing this probably for a couple of months now. I did mean to update before Christmas, but life got hectic. And I'm actually finding the injections much better than the tablets in terms of side effects, so that's really positive. I do also think it's helping So technically it's the same dose as I was on with tablets, but because it's injectable, it's almost like it's a higher dose because of the way it's absorbed into the body. So yeah, if you have any more questions, let me know. Yeah, so that is how I use it. It still weirds me out, even though I've been on it for quite a few months now. I just don't like doing it to myself. Often I will get someone else to do it for me if I can. I know it's not a proper needle, but it still kind of freaks me out a little bit, not gonna lie. Anywho's, so I obviously misunderstood, because when she put me on the injection, she said we can increase the dose. And then, because she put me on the same dose I was on tablets, but she said it's going to hit harder because it's an injection, it's absorbed into the body a different way, so it's going to feel like a larger dose. So I was like, okay, great. And to be fair, it has really, really helped. There are definite improvements since I've been on the Metoject rather than the tablets, so that is really positive. However, I'm still getting an awful lot of side effects. I'm still really struggling with fatigue, I'm still really struggling with pain. I'll pop in a clip here the other day of my hands, because for a long time my hands were getting better, and in the last maybe month or so they've started to get really stiff and sore again, like for longer. So normally I'll put my gloves on first thing in the morning, or get my gloves put on first thing in the morning because I can't do them, and then by sort of 3 or 4 hours after that I can usually make a fist. Like today's a pretty good day because I can make a fist, but there are days when I still can't. So I'll show you this clip. Okay, it is 5:30 in the afternoon and I still can't make a fist. That is as much as I can bend my fingers, and that is hurting to do. Yeah, so that is one of those worst days where I can barely grip my hand into a fist. I can't grip anything really with them. It's an absolute nightmare. So that's that. So I went back to see the doctor in February and they said, you know, we'll put you on an additional medication. We often use these 3 together. It'll be great. I was like, okay, fine. So I do have a couple of questions for you. I'm thinking, oh God, because when I started on the hydroxychloroquine, I have to have eye tests every year because it can make you go blind. It can severely affect your eyes. When I was put on the methotrexate, I was told you've got to be really careful. This compromises your immune system. You're immunocompromised now, you need to be really careful, blah, blah, blah. And then COVID, and so that was all fun. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what is this medication going to give me? So this is the medication. And she said, so first of all, do you wear contact lenses? And I said, no. She's like, oh, that's really good. Because this medication can turn your contact lenses yellow. Thankfully not your eyes, but it can leach through and turn your contact lenses yellow. Which is just nuts to me. I don't understand how medication can do that, but hey ho. And then she asked a couple of other basic questions like, do you drink, do you smoke, all of that kind of stuff. And then she said, I just need to warn you. And I'm thinking, oh dear God, what now? She said, so most medications, you know within the first sort of month if you're going to have an allergic reaction to them. This medication, it can take up to 12 weeks for an allergic reaction to show. So we're going to monitor you closely for those 12 weeks. I was like, okay, great. She said, come and have blood tests. Cool. Went and had the blood tests. Except for when I had COVID and couldn't go, but I missed one blood test. But it's okay, I've had the other blood tests. And then she said, so when you go for a wee, it's going to change the colour of your urine. I'm thinking, okay. She's like, it'll turn it a little bit sort of orangey yellow. So it'll just look like it's very concentrated all the time. You know, when you go and you're dehydrated, it's a very dark colour. So that's kind of what I was anticipating. Trust me, I'm not going to show you a picture, don't panic. It turns my urine fluorescent yellow-orange. It is so bright. Like, it looks like I've put coloured water in the toilet. It's insane. First time I noticed it, I was like, and then I remember she said it can change it, but I did not expect it to come out that colour. It's similar to this sort of colour. No, it's not a picture of my wee. It's just a colour match. And it's weird. It's still weird. Even now, even though I've been on it for nearly 2 months, it still weirds me out. Anywho, so she gave me that and I was like, great, let's see if this works. We slowly built up the doses. And then, so she gave me enough for, I think, 7 or 8 weeks. But I'm not seeing the rheumatologist team again until the middle of June. So I've got the rest, half of April, all of May and some of June to go. And I'm out of medication. So I went to my GP and I said, hey, can you give me this? And the GP said, no, the hospital hasn't sent over your blood test results, so we can't give it to you. Okay, so I try and get hold of the rheumatology team. A, they're only open certain times. This phone line's only open at certain times a day. And B, no one ever bloody answers. I've left four messages, I think, asking them to call me back. And I keep calling and calling, and nobody answers, nobody calls me back. So I don't have that medication currently. So that is possibly why my hands are starting to play up. More so in the last couple of weeks, but it has been going on while I was taking that medication. So I don't think that's it, but you know, there's a fact to be considered. So that is the faff with my physical health stuff. Just waiting for someone to be able to prescribe me this medication that I've now gone cold turkey on because I'm out. I knew I was coming to the end, so I did kind of start to taper it down a little bit from the 2 twice a day to 1 twice a day to 1 a day, just so that I wasn't going completely cold turkey because I had no idea how it was going to react. Like, I'm not a doctor, I don't understand how these things work, so yeah, I did that, but that's fine. Then the saga of my mental health. If you enjoy these videos, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe. It really does help me out. Oh yeah, there's one more physical update on my hip. So as I mentioned in a previous video, I will link it wherever it links. The hip surgeon discharged me because apparently there's nothing wrong with my bones. I just need weight loss surgery. Despite the fact that he literally looked at my bone with his own eyes in 2013 when he operated on it and said, yeah, we need to replace it. Anywho, so at the rheumatology, I say to them, look, I don't know what's going on. I have no one looking after my hip now. And she's like, oh, Willie, we'll do an MRI and see what it's like. Well, their MRI came back completely clean. Said there's some issues in my lower back, but nothing in my hip. Now, I know for a fact it's my hip because I've had several lots of steroid injections. And when they inject into my back, nothing happens. When they inject into the hip joint, I get pain relief. So I know it's the hip. Nobody wants to touch it. So now I'm just sitting around here taking a shitload of opioid painkillers with horrible side effects that I don't really want to be on. And I'm still in pain every day. Don't get me wrong, I love the NHS, but there are some kinks that need ironing out and it needs a lot more support. Anywho, I'm going to stop blabbering at you now because I've been recording for a long time and you're probably still not here. If you are here, let me know, leave a spoon in the comments so that I know you've made it to the end of the video. I just want to thank you all very much. I really appreciate you and all your lovely comments. You are so sweet. And yeah, any questions, leave them down below and I'll see you on the next one. Loopy love.